there's things that I haven't really spoken about. Like, fucking all these people.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to silence Jeff. That day is like the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and I wish I would do anything to take that day back. I wish it was easier. I wish it was easier to deal with this. That'll be the biggest regret of my life. You know, I haven't mentioned this. Like, no one can tell that I want to fucking bring it out.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I want to do this. Is like, this weighs on me every minute of every day of my life. I'm so good.
Hey Shelby Bells, it's Shelby. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video. We have to talk about David Dobrik, you guys. He has finally come out and addressed the entire situation with Jeff Wittek's accident. And you guys, this is a side of David Dobrik we have not seen before. David Dobrik is somebody who never addresses drama, who just kind of lets it fly under the radar, just keeps on with his life. He's one of those very much Nikita Dragon, Tana Mojo vibes with that. But he addressed this and it got super deep, you guys. I thought we should talk about it. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I have all the receipts and I really want to share them with you guys because this is a side of David Dobrik we have not seen. It kind of opened my eyes and made David Dobrik seem a little bit more human in my eyes. I want to share with you guys the key points I thought he addressed in this podcast and also just kind of give you my thoughts on them. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you the footage of what David had to say. Roll it.
It's also hard. There's so much to say that we're not going to cover it all this podcast.
There's so much to say. And I've told Jason, I was like, for the next month, like you keep preaching this, like, okay, you take the reins of the podcast and like whatever you need to get out of me or whatever you think I need to get out myself, like, let's just do it. Let's just talk about it. So for the next couple weeks, I just want to be able to talk about stuff that like normally I would be too scared or hesitant or find not important or like just wouldn't want to mention on live. But I feel like I not only owe it to you guys, but this is so lame. I feel like I owe it to myself, like to like, just get it off. Like I feel like I've just been in this like, I don't know. I just feel like I need to like come out and be like, yeah, this is me. This is what I've been going through.
This is your coming out episode for sure.
But yeah, I've been going. The last 2 years of my life have been like the worst years of my life, and yeah, it's been like really, really bad. And I think it's so interesting because I'll see comments on like my new vlogs and everyone would be like, I think we cut this. I mentioned this in the last podcast, but I think we cut it out. And I'll read comments and everyone would be like, this is the happiest I've ever seen him.
Yes.
He's finally like, whatever, hit his stride. And it's like, it couldn't be further from the truth. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't even know like I could feel something like this. It's pretty dark.
Well, there's a lot of issues on the table. And probably the first thing is Jeff. We should talk about that and what's going on and how you feel about it.
Right. Recently, our friend Jeff Wittek, posted some stuff about me, just about the accident and about how things have been handled. And
you didn't call him on his surgery, stuff like that.
And I think there's things that I haven't really spoken about. I've never spoken about the surgery or the incident in general. So I think it's kind of time for that.
And we asked Jeff to come today and be on the podcast. He didn't want to, and we respect that.
Right.
Because I would prefer to do that with him here.
Yes, me too.
You know, but
that's also a reason I don't like doing any of this stuff.
I don't like doing it either. I agree with you.
I think like talking about someone when they're not in the room is like a really strange thing. Mm-hmm. I think you can tear open a person when they're in the room right next to you and like you're making eye contact, but I think it's a whole nother to talk about somebody when they're not there with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Jeff thing is worst because before I even say anything, like that day is like the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and I wish I would do anything to take that day back. My hand is shaking. Like, yeah, I mean, anything. Like, I'm being dead ass. Like, I wish it was me up there. I wish whatever. Like, it's like, it's the most unfortunate thing ever. And I think, and it's it's an accident. That's what it was. It's an accident. Like I also want to make that clear. I don't know if people think that there's never a world where I would ever want that to happen to a person. I was never up there like driving the thing wanting to hurt him or whatever it was. Like that was never the thing. And I think recently, so Jeff's gotten angry recently with me, and I don't know. There's a lot of layers to it. I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the main reasons Jeff is bummed with me right now is because he saw me do an interview where I said something that I promised him I'd keep between us. And that's something he told you.
Yeah.
And I figured that that's what it was. And then you reaffirmed it when you told me that he's pissed that I broke a promise. This is so hard to talk about because like I don't want to sound. Yeah. Okay. So it was the day of whatever it was. It was.
You've never talked about the accident. You want to go through it?
Yeah. I mean, we were filming a video, like my comeback video I haven't posted in a while, and we wanted to do something exciting. And there was this YouTuber that we were collaborating with for it that like did these really cool like really cool visuals of like people doing the coolest things. And one of them was people were like wakeboarding. I don't know what that's called, while holding on to an excavator. And that was like one of like 5 things we were gonna do. That was like the first activity that we had planned to shoot. And yeah, the morning came where we were in Utah. We were filming it, and yeah, we were getting the shots, wakeboarding, and then I remember Jeff came up to one of my buddies, one of our friends. I don't know why I say it like that. And then later to me, and he was like, "This is boring as shit. What are we, like preschoolers? Like, let's do something cool." And he said he wanted to swing from it, and I loved the idea. I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And I remember Jeff told me to check my DMs, and it was a video that he found like 15 minutes before the accident that somebody posted. And he said, "Let's recreate this." And it was a guy swinging from an excavator and flying off. I didn't see that DM till the hospital. And he jokes. He's like, "I didn't mean literally, haha," like he joked. That was the first time I saw the DM. That was the first time I opened it. And then he asked, he's like, can you promise me one thing? And I said, "What?" And he's like, "Can you just promise that no one ever knows that this was my idea?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Like, that's not a big deal." And then that's the promise I broke recently. And I don't know. And here's the thing. I don't understand why that bothered him so much. Because at the end of the day, I was the one fucking driving it. It was my video. I was the one sitting there. It's fucking clear as day. I am the one controlling the thing. He got hurt because I was driving. That's it. And I fucking know that. And like I said, I would, any chance I would get, I would take that back. Any chance I would get. And that'll be the biggest regret of my life, my entire life. I really hope there's not a moment that I regret as much as that one. But yeah. And then we,
it's like a pride thing. He didn't want to.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever it was. Whatever it was. I was like, yes, I can keep that. And then it got like a little bit, we started filming, so there's some things that I wish Jeff was a little bit more truthful on, but given the circumstance, it's so hard because he's hurt. So that's why I hate talking about this, because he is a victim. Like, he got fucking hurt. His face is crushed. He has to go to multiple surgeries. Like, I understand that. So it's like really tough, like going back and forth
here are some
when this is so like
here are some of the
gray.
Here are some of the things that he's told me that I, are legitimate. They're legitimate gripes, like, he came to the house to do a Hawaii video, and he thought, and you had planned the Hawaii trip the same day as one of his surgeries. So there was no way that he could go to Hawaii, but he was here for the return of the video. So, which is, yeah.
But
like,
we didn't plan that trip till,
we didn't know when he was getting his surgeries. We never know.
and we didn't plan that trip
Right.
till like everyone came. I surprised them with the trip,
Right.
and like on camera, I said it's in 3 days, like just to get a cool reaction. I don't even know if I included that, but it wasn't for like weeks after we
Right.
went, because we were checking everyone's schedule, and then his surgery came up last minute, so that wasn't.
and the hospital bills, which is one of his gripes, and his credit is messed up, is what he told me. But you guys are saying that you have tried to pay the hospital bills, right? But his assistant hasn't reached back out.
Well, let me get into that.
Okay.
I think the hospital bills.
This is tough. I'm not like trying to speak for Jeff, but I think it's fair that
No.
someone does.
No. Definitely someone should be speaking for Jeff because he's not here. But that stuff is tough because I think it goes along with what I'm about to say. So, well, let me get to the house. Should I talk about the hospital bills or should I go? I think we skipped a lot here.
Yep.
Okay, so
Go back.
Okay, so let me go back. So then we started filming. There's a lot of things that I wish were more like honest and transparent. And that was that it was Jeff wanted to keep the accident to ourselves for a while.
I think he also just wasn't comfortable with like the way that he looked. He didn't want to show people until, he was ready.
That's understandable.
Right. And what bums me out is I see a lot of things. I don't know if he said it or where it was like put into the universe that like I kept this from people. Like, I mean, for multiple reasons, I wouldn't keep that from people. One, it's because it's his fucking face. It's his life. Like, he's allowed to share it whenever. And two, that would just be extremely stupid of me trying to hide something as brutal as that. Like, I would never, ever do that. And that never happened. We were following his lead. So when he wanted to make a doc, like, I was there. Like, I was like, whatever you need me to do, like, however I'm going to be in this, like, I'll be in it. We really want to make David cry in this piece. We really want him to know what he's done. And there was more of what he said to Taylor, but that was kind of the thing that resonated with me the most. And that's where I started to feel like, oh, fuck, like, what's going on here? Like, someone's not being transparent with me here. Like, I almost feel like I'm being pushed into a corner. And that made me feel really, like, uncomfortable and scared. And
Hey, why? What's wrong with what is wrong with you crying in the doc?
well, because it's just like a weird thing to say. I felt like it was like, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but like that to me felt like, I don't know, like it just felt weird.
Yeah. And also I think the doc came after a bunch of other bad shit that happened.
Right. And I think it came at the wrong time. And then, and it's tough with like, and it's tough. And then the doc got into things like, how like, I'm not there for him. Like, we don't talk enough. And a lot of that was true. Like, I've never had a harder time communicating with a person than I have with him during this. And it's for multiple reasons. It's for me fucking just being bad at that shit and not knowing how to handle like such a serious situation. And I also didn't know if he needed space. Like, every time I would talk to him, Jeff is like a guy who like is very tough when you're to his face and is like, I don't need this. I don't need you doing this. Like, I'm good. I'm strong. But then when you create that distance, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's not talking to me. And then like when my other friends would go talk to him, he'd tell him, he's like, if I ever see Dave, I'm gonna fucking beat his ass.
Right.
So it's like, and that happened multiple times from multiple different friends where he would like complain about. So like, I wouldn't know, like, do you want to see me more so you can beat my ass? Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how to go about that in a way where it's not hurting him more seeing me. Cause that accident is so bad where like, I would understand if he wouldn't want to see me because I'm associated with like such a shit fucking time. And back to the secret that he wanted me to keep. I was all hands on deck for that, but I feel like I can take, 80% of the responsibility, 90%, 100% of the responsibility for the accident, whatever he needs me to do. But that, then when it gets to the point where it started to feel like I was taking 150% of the responsibility, I started to see things like David fucking forced his friend up there, like all this kind of stuff, like that was just fucking insane. And it like felt like people thought I like literally sent him up there just so he can fucking swing off this thing.
Right.
Like that was not the case. And like the more and more that happened, the more I was like, what is going on? Like this is not what happened. It was a combined decision we made, and it was a complete accident. And I'm so fucking sorry that accident happened, but it did, and there's no going back from that. Like there's nothing we can do. And yeah, I wish it was more like that. And then when it started to be like more 150% on me, I started to get, I don't know, I guess like it just freaked me out more. I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And then in terms of his like medical payments, so far we've paid, I think I just had accounting check and it was like $78,000 of surgery. And I don't know what that equates to. I don't know what that is, but I don't love the fact that he's going around saying I don't pay for surgeries. Like that fucking hurts. Like I want to help him. I really, truly do. Yeah. And like he still has my word. Like I told him that I pay for a surgery. He can still, and the reason we haven't been paying for a surgery, I don't know if it's his assistant's fault or Jeff just told him to back off from us, but like I don't handle that stuff more. I just give approval to spend that, whatever. Right. But like Natalie has asked multiple times, like loop us into all these surgeries, and we're just not getting looped into anything. Mm-hmm. And then we're blindsided when he goes to another surgery, and then he'll like come out and be like his most recent surgery, I didn't know that he had a surgery until he unfollowed me on Instagram. And that's because, it's a two-way street. We can be like, when's your next surgery? But also no one's looping us into what we need to be paying for. And to this day, like I'm still keeping my word. Like I want him to send me whatever he needs me to pay for. Like I will pay for it. But it's just not fair to say that we haven't been paying for it because we
have paid literally every single bill that has ever been sent.
Yeah, every bill and will as long as he needs it. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
This is good. you're speaking your mind and speaking your truth and your side of it, and it's good.
But at the end of the day, like none of this matters. Like nothing I say, nothing he says, nothing we say together will ever fix what happened. Like that's the end of the fact. And like, and that's what sucks is like, it just can't be changed. And it's a fucking really shitty accident. And it's just a thing that I don't know. I wish we could both figure out how to approach moving forward. Like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I'm saying. He's favorite too. It's also like really tough when, like I can see from Jeff's perspective, like it's probably really tough when he sees my videos and I'm like traveling the world and I'm having this like fucking time of my life. And it's like,
and he's getting his eye cracked open.
Yeah. And it's like, and it totally looks, I haven't mentioned this. Like no one can even fucking tell that I want to fucking blow my fucking brains out.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason I want to do this is like, this weighs on me every fucking minute of every day of my life. Fuck, I'm so lame. But like, it's like the worst. Why are you crying? No, it's just.
I feel so bad.
No. It was your fault. You shouldn't have left for the bathroom. No.
I feel so bad for you, man.
No. No, don't do that.
I know. And Jeff, I feel bad for Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff is the first person I feel bad for. And then after that, I
Natalie,
who puts up with you.
And then I feel bad for myself. You got me that dog I can't take care of. No, but
I can't keep up with him, man.
No, this fucking blows. It fucking blows. It's such a bad shit situation, and we've tried. We've had this conversation like has happened with Jeff face to face a good number of times. I remember when he was making the doc, we went for a car ride around, and like he was like, "Hey, I know you've apologized to me in person, but like I want you to do it on camera so people can see." And I was like, "Okay." So we rode around for 45 minutes, and tears were shed, and there was a lot of conversating, and he was really fair to me in the car, and we were really fair with each other. Like, it was very amicable, and like, it was very sweet. And we got back to the house, and we didn't hit record on the camera.
Really?
So it was, I'm not kidding. It was like 45 minutes an hour, not hit record.
Where was Oscar?
And then we did it again. We were like, let's go again. So we went for the same car ride down the same streets, talked about the same shit, in the same way. And like, that never made it in to his video. Maybe it was on his Patreon. I don't know where it was, but like that kind of bummed me out. It's like, we're having all these conversations, and like, what is it for? Like, do you need to hear this from me, or do you need to hear it for your video? Or like, and no one's seeing it at the end of the day. So like, what is it for? Like, what are we doing this for? And like, it doesn't feel authentic, especially the second time. So yeah, I don't know.
I think later for Jeff, it became more like he just didn't want to be involved with.
Right, but there's a way to say that other than like, I'm silencing him.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to silence Jeff. I've never.
Yep, that's fair.
Well, hold on, that's not fair. Would I have loved for him to keep stuff to ourselves?
Yeah.
Like our conversations and stuff? Yes, but no, there was never a moment where I was like, no one can know about this injury. Like there was never a moment where he like walks into my office and like I hit a button and the door locks and I'm just like, we need to talk about some stuff. I put my feet on the table.
You're honestly not that imposing or threatening. You're not that threatening.
No, I never do shit like that.
You usually just run the other way.
I'm okay. I think at the end of the day, like, this has been such a shitty situation, like from the moment it happened to the last couple months. And like I said, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about this. And I'm so sorry that this happened to you, Jeff. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I wish it was easier. I wish it was easier to deal with this. I wish we were both better communicators. Because I know it eats you up, and I know it eats me up, and I know for a fact we don't communicate that to each other properly. And I wish we did that better. And yeah. And I don't know. It's so fucking shitty, and there's nothing I can say here that will fix everything. So that's why it's like, that's why this is so tough.
That's why you haven't said anything.
And I also like, I'll see comments sometimes like, did he forget what he did? Or did people forget? And it's like, no, I will never forget. I will fucking never forget. But just to wrap things up for this really bizarre podcast, I know things are going to be clipped from here and maybe taken out of context or taken with context, and people will react in different ways. But I just want to be really clear that I mean, I've said it, but I just want to be really clear that that there are a lot of things that I could have done differently. There's, from before the accident to after the accident to nothing to do with the accident. There's a lot of things that I could have done differently in my life, and like, and I'm sorry. And I promised this before, and I've said it in private, and I'll say it again. Like, I'm making those changes, and I'm open to those changes, and like, I read every comment, unfortunately, that I see. So like, I do take everything into consideration, and I'm learning, and I'm not, and I don't do this for any other reason than to spread joy on people's faces and to like make people laugh. Like, genuinely don't do this for any other reason. And I want to keep doing that. And it's been difficult to do without sharing this side or part of me. Cause I feel like I've kind of been like leaving all my emotions in here and like not giving you guys the full scoop of everything. And I don't know. I also want to be clear that I'm not, this video isn't a video where I'm pointing fingers at people or anything. This was just kind of kind of just like how I would talk to a therapist, like kind of just like a way of like just getting stuff off my chest in a way that like I want to like grow from this, move on from this, be better from this, and be honest about this, just so I can move forward accordingly. Like I feel like if I don't get this out or I don't get this off my chest, like I genuinely am like stunting my own growth, like in my character. Like I feel like I'm just like in this box unless I'm really sharing my experiences and what I'm feeling. So that was the purpose of this.
Wow, that was so much to unload, you guys. I don't know. This is a side of David Dobrik that we have never seen before. In ways, I think it was very raw and real. I could see that he was kind of stuttering over his words, didn't really know what to say, was kind of really battling the way he was feeling a little bit and feeling kind of almost anxious or unsure if he should share stuff. I mean, there's a lot of pauses and ums and all of that. You can visibly see that he's kind of uncomfortable in a lot of this because there's a stigma around men kind of opening up and sharing their sides of things. And I feel like with David Dobrik, that's kind of the reason why he doesn't share a lot of what he's feeling or a lot of what he's going through or his personal business on the internet is because of that stigma. I do think it is very helpful that we were able to finally hear David Dobrik's side of things. And it does contradict a lot of what Jeff Wittek was saying. This video is just kind of outlining what David was saying. I'm not going to go into a lot of what Jeff has said. If you want to know what Jeff has said on the situation, I do have videos on my channel about that. And maybe I'll make a video kind of comparing what Jeff and David said. But in this video, I'm just really going to be talking about what David said. But I will say that a lot of the things that David is saying is going kind of contradicting what Jeff has said, which makes me think that some of the things that Jeff was saying were maybe just said out of being hurt by the whole situation with David. And honestly, with every right, Jeff should be very hurt by this situation. This is a situation that's going to affect him for the rest of his life, and dealing with that and growing through that and healing from that trauma and the PTSD of the accident and just all of that is a lot. And it does not surprise me, and it's completely human that Jeff might just be feeling very hurt, lashing out, might not be telling the complete truth, might not even know what the complete truth is anymore, and it wouldn't surprise me if that was a situation. At the end of the day, there's always three sides to every story. There's one person's side, the other person's side, in this case Jeff's side versus David's side, and somewhere in the middle is going to be the truth. So I'm sure that if you were to put all the pieces from both of these people's side together, you might be able to actually come up with the truth. I'm not saying Jeff is lying. I'm not saying David is lying. I do think a couple things in this video that David put out, I think that some of them might not have been the complete truth, just from body language stuff. Like when he showed the clip of that Instagram DM that he received with the person on the excavator that Jeff sent him, I don't know, like he was doing a lot of scratching of the nose and stuff in that, and normally that kind of indicates when someone's lying or not really telling the truth, is they'll scratch their nose, they'll cover their mouth to kind of like hide it's like a body language thing, you guys. If you're not really sure on like body language stuff, look it up. I'm so into body language and stuff. I look it up on the internet all the time. Quite honestly, in both situations, I think that there's probably some things that Jeff isn't telling the truth about, and I think there's some things that David isn't telling the truth about. But overall, I do get the impression from watching this podcast, and I did, you guys, watch this podcast from beginning to end. I didn't just get clips from Spill Some Tea With Me Back Up and Deaf Noodles in Front of Me's Room. I watched the entire podcast, and I did get the impression that David is very remorseful for the entire situation that happened, that he does take accountability for his part in the situation, and that he is really struggling through this, and I do very much get that impression. I don't know, what kind of impression do you guys get from the clips I shared with you? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this entire thing with David Dobrik finally opening up and sharing his side of what happened with Jeff Wittek on the excavator. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on all that drama. I would love to hear from you. And I know this was a long one, but that's going to be it for today's video, you guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel down below. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified of all my future videos when they do post. Remember, all Shelby bells ring the bell. And if you enjoyed today's video, you guys, YouTube should be suggesting a couple more down below for you to choose from, so I'd love it if you did that. Aside from that, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.